Meet my dog Goldie. She's done over 100 flights before her first birthday, and she's on her way to becoming a million-miler in the time it takes most babies to start talking. The two most common questions I get asked when traveling with her is what kind of dog is she, and how do you manage to travel with her? The first answer is easy. She's an F1B Cavapoo with 75% Poodle and 25% King Cavalier. The second is a little more complicated. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about traveling with your pup and my top 5 must-haves no matter where we are traveling to or how long the trip will be. Number 1 being an absolute game changer when it comes to traveling with a pet. For my entire life, I wanted a dog. There's just something about them and their unconditional love for you. The way they look at you when you walk in the door as if you've been gone for months, even though it was 3 minutes while you were just taking out the trash. But I couldn't have a dog growing up. My parents just simply wouldn't allow it. They said it was allergies or something. But now that they've been around all 3 grandpups, I think that was a cover-up. It was in college when I seriously started thinking about getting a dog, but how could I? It would be simply irresponsible to have a dog while in school and working full-time. Then, after college, I prepared myself for the medical field. Once again, working really long hours, nights on the ambulance, and barely being home. I couldn't raise a dog by myself. I then went on to grad school to become a physician assistant, and after I started working, I've been a PA for over 7 years, and I started traveling for work 4 years ago. My life was becoming even harder to think about settling down and having a pup to greet me with a cute little tail wag and a lick on the face, making the leap until one day I decided, why not? Why not take a dog with me everywhere I go? Why couldn't I make this happen? So being an irrational, spontaneous person like I am, I made the decision and put myself on a list to receive a dog. After 9 months, I got an email stating that a litter was available and I could choose one if I'd like. As soon as I saw her baby photo, I knew it was meant to be. So I made the leap and I said, I'll take her. I jumped on a plane to Pennsylvania and picked her up at the wee age of 10 weeks. With her doggy carrier in hand and some kibble in a Ziploc bag, we flew from Pennsylvania to Florida. I was so nervous flying with her the first time. Being a brand new pup, she wouldn't have all her vaccines yet, and I didn't know how strict the airlines were about pet policies. I figured like most things in life, cash can get you through any situation. Little did I know that airlines require different policies depending on the company, the plane, and the pets have to have a secured seat. After some frantic back and forth with the airline, we filled out all the necessary documents, paid the pet fee, and boarded the flight. We took a stop in Charlotte as I didn't want to have her on a really long flight the first time. I had no idea how long she could go without needing a restroom or how often she needed to be fed. I was surprised how easygoing she was. She didn't make a peep. She didn't want a single snack or treat, and she did not want to go to the bathroom on our layover. I was worried something might have been wrong with her. Can you tell I'm a first-time dog mom? After having her a few days, I started to realize I was in for a surprise. She was up all hours of the night. She wasn't potty trained, and she was chewing on everything. She wouldn't listen to a darn thing I was saying.
Leave it. Leave it.
How on earth was I going to travel full-time with this little gremlin? After having her for a few weeks to ensure we had all her vaccines, I made my first trip to California to go to work. But before we went, I needed to make sure she was comfortable in her carrier on top of a rolling bag. So we practiced throughout the apartment, rolling around 5 to 10 minutes a couple times a day. And as we got to the airport, I was more familiar with the paperwork as a pet to keep her under the seat in front of me. But I wasn't so much aware of all the pet policies. Like, you have to keep them in the carrier with the carrier closed the entire time. Even before you walk down the jetway, as soon as they had me zip her in her carrier closed, she started to whine and cry. Now, I don't blame her. With all the people and commotion going on, who would want to be shut in that? So I did what any good dog mom would do. and I continuously fed her an entire bag of treats for 5 hours. The fact that she didn't throw up from so much overeating is a miracle to this day. Since that first flight, I've learned a lot about making travel as easy as possible for her and for me. And now she absolutely loves coming with me. Before we are ready to get in the car, she hops in her carrier and waits so patiently. Meeting new people, seeing new sights, and smelling new scents seems to really make her day. And now I couldn't imagine not having her with me on every trip. So if you're thinking about bringing your pup with you for the first time, or you want to make your travels easier, here are my top essentials that I must have. Paw wipes. If there's anything I learned is that dogs get messy. I always carry these paw wipes in her carrier to ensure that I can clean her up at any time. And if she is to walk on the airport floor or anywhere where there is foot traffic, I need to clean her paws prior to getting in the car or back in her carrier. Hygiene is really important, and it's hard to clean things while in a hotel or on the go. The paw wipes have never been a problem going through TSA either, unlike those foaming soaps for paws, which would have a size limit of over 4 ounces. Number 4, a carrier. A good carrier is an absolute must-have. I like one with more rigid sides so it isn't collapsing on her all the time. I first started out with an away carrier, which are really nice, and now I have this Paravel carrier. When it comes to a carrier, the airlines require that it has breathing ventilations on at least 3 sides. I also look for a carrier that has 2 methods of allowing the dog out. I have 2 bags where the zipper actually broke when she was inside of it. Talk about stressful situation. I had to break the zipper completely to get her out. Now I make sure she has at least 2 exits. I also recommend a carrier that's easy to clean with a brush or soap and water. You'll need to check with your airlines as most carriers need to be a certain size, but as long as they fit under the seat in front of you, you're usually good and it's not to be worried about. Number 3, a collapsible water bowl. Space is essential when it comes to traveling with a dog, and if you don't want to be bringing unnecessary things that weigh too much or take up too much space, I made that mistake in the beginning, but when I got one of these, I can't imagine going back. They are super easy to clean. You can tape them anywhere and they don't take up any space. I also like ones that have a clip on them so you can just clip this right on your bag or their carrier so you never lose it. Number 2, pee pads. This one is great if you can train your dog to go in multiple locations, not just outdoors but indoors too. After the first time I stepped into a pet relief area in an airport, I vowed I would never step in one again. It was one of the worst things I did, and my dog absolutely refused to go in the bathroom in there. I worked with a trainer and we trained her to go on a pee pad on command. Wherever we are, I know that she can go without me worrying if I'm in the middle of a downtown region or a foreign country. And number 1, my absolute must-have are treats. High-value treats that your dog goes crazy for is super essential. To get Goldie into the bag and actually zip her up, she still requires some enticing with a treat. And of course, it's great to reward them for being calm, quiet, and well-behaved. Some people use treats with CBD infused. I've just never been into that, so I've opted out, and I stick with things like this, jerky or bites. People often ask why we go through all this trouble. Traveling with a dog can obviously have its ups and downs. You're both out of your element and you don't have all the comfort, the items, the toys, the normal routines, or walking paths that you're used to. Even bigger challenges may come up, like rolling around in mud, and then you're needing to bathe them in a hotel shower. But if you go into it knowing that it's not always easy and it may require some few extra costs due to unexpected expenses, then you too can start traveling with your pup and create unforgettable memories together. At the end of the day, my dog has one life to live, and so do I. And fortunately or unfortunately, I will outlive my dog, and I want to make sure every moment for her is the best moment. If you've ever dreamed of hitting the road or the skies with your pet, let our story be your inspiration. Hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to give you more tips on traveling with your pet.